Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, where we are cross-examining a dead guy.
I know not about my disciple's murder.
I don't know if I trust that.
Furthermore, I have an alibi of my own.
An alibi? Seriously?
It seems the testimony the defense had been hoping for is working against him. Now, Abbott and me, your testimony, if you please.
Uh-oh.
Yes, of course.
We got this. I feel like I have an alibi. No, you don't.
I have an ironclad alibi for the time during which the murder took place.
How do you know?
Just past noon on the day before the riot, I was entertaining guests at my home.
Please just never do that again.
And I believe my guests can corroborate this.
You had guests? Just past noon. That's right about the time Zealot was murdered. Are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
Come to think of it, Rafa told me about the spirit's memory. The spirit's memory is cut off at the moment of death, so even a spirit that is brought back after centuries doesn't sense any gap in time between the moment of its death and the moment it is channeled. Yes, and yet it clearly recalls all of the memories it had in life. Okay. So not much to really pick at there. The High Priest seems to know exactly what he's talking about. So the question is, what would be the best angle of attack? Alright, let's see what we got. We'll just... I have an ironclad alibi for the time during which the murder took place. You use the word alibi as if it were second nature.
Are you perhaps mocking me? Or is it perhaps the kingdom of Khura'in itself you wish to ridicule?
Ah, that's not helping. Come on, everyone in the Grandma knows what alibi means. We're not a bunch of country bumpkins here. We have plenty of courtroom dramas on TV.
Peace, I say. Mr. Wright, would you care to clarify your last statement?
Please don't take it the wrong way. It's just, alibi is a rather technical term for a priest to use so naturally.
I assure you, I know how to use the term. In fact, I'd even hoped for a chance to do so one day. I suppose that even I, a high priest, am not immune to such trivial worldly attachments.
Oh, I see. That's actually even weirder. Still, he seems unusually calm and composed. It's almost as if he had prepped himself for something like this. But how? Well, alright, so he would have known about Maya's power. Guests? And you were entertaining them personally.
That I was. We gathered around the table for a most enjoyable conversation.
He said his guest could corroborate his alibi. That can't be good for our case. Are you sure that was the same day as the murder? Maybe you've misremembered.
God, do not doubt my mnemonic faculties. I may have died, but my memories up to that point are crystal clear.
Sorry. He's pretty thin-skinned for a priest, though I guess I should have known better than to doubt his memory. Right, yeah, we just went over this. Yeah, That was like 8 seconds ago. I like some of these flashbacks because it can be helpful, especially between recording sessions. Don't need it every 5 minutes. Yep. We're literally not even 5 minutes into the episode.
There's nothing better than enjoying Gingil cuisine with dear friends. That way everyone's breath becomes equally malodorous.
Right. Who were your guests? And who exactly were your guests that day? Don't tell me they were rebels so they can't be called here to testify.
It was none other than his high majesty, along with his family. He couldn't attend the rite due to work, so he stopped by ahead of time. My, how his daughter has grown.
Wait a second.
Let me set the record straight right now. I am not a rebel. Thank you for that wonderful meal, Abbott and me. Lady and me's cooking simply cannot be beat. So there you have it.
When exactly was this magistrate at your house?
He was there from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Indeed, precisely the time period within which Acolyte Zalot was slain.
That's a little too convenient.
Yes, and we had a rousing chat concerning a game of Catch 'em all.
But
No, let's have that added to the testimony. After all, it was I who had visited the High Priest's home.
He visited from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Your Majesty, are you sure this testimony is completely accurate?
Sure can be. Oh, how wonderful it is to finally have my actions be admissible as evidence in court. His Majesty was at my home during the exact time period of the murder. Come, let us put this behind us. I could not possibly have committed this crime.
Wait, how can you be so sure? What if the clock or watch you were using was off, or you misread the time?
There was a clock right near the table, and it had the exact same time as my watch.
He planned that too well.
Now do you understand, lawyer? As you can see, my alibi is airtight. Nor do you still think I could have killed Acolytes a lot?
I do. Magistrate's a witness. Come on, we got this. Are you satisfied now? There's not a single discrepancy in Abbott and me's alibi. There is though. Oh, I don't know how we're gonna present that. If I give up now, it's all over. Now, hold on a second. Is there anything wrong with the High Priest's testimony? There is. Alright. There is a discrepancy in the High Priest's testimony.
There is. Well then, perhaps you could explain what it might be.
This is what was wrong with his testimony. He knew the time of the crime. After Abbott in me was channeled, no one ever stated what time Acolyte Zalot was murdered.
Now that you mention it.
Despite that, you claim to have an alibi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. That means you knew that Acolyte Zalot was dead when you were still alive. Wait, I think I saw something just now. No, I must be imagining things. So tell me, how did you know what time the crime had been committed?
About that. Open your heart. Let the Holy Mother in. Why, we've been blessed with the High Priest's sacred words of prayer. All who serve her holiness must strive to banish worldly desires from their soul. Open your heart. Let the Holy Mother in. Purge your mind. I feel as if my very soul has been cleansed.
You can't fool me. Prayer may banish worldly desires, but it can't make a contradiction disappear. How can you be so sure? What's that supposed to mean? This lawyer seems to think little of the power of Corinna's prayer. Abbott and me was at home during the crime, but knew of what happened at the hideout. I believe this can be explained thusly. He must have had a way to monitor the hideout from his home. What?
You never cease to amaze, prosecutor.
Alright. It's starting to bother me a little bit that Sadmati is like acting like he has this higher calling from the spirit world, while like he has to know he's full of crap at this point. Like I'm just having a hard time reconciling those two characteristics. I'm sure we'll probably find out more about his motivations as we go, but like, man, I'm having a hard time with that.
As he surmised, there was a listening device installed at the hideout. It enabled me to instantly learn of anything unusual, even when I was not there.
Remember, the rebels had been using this as a top secret hideout. It would be perfectly natural for them to install such an apparatus. Wait, come to think of it, when I was searching the rebel hideout, there's something under the banner. A microphone. What's this doing here? Someone trying to record something with it? That was a listening device?
It starts recording whenever it detects movement, and I heard just such a recording after His Majesty and his family left. If you look in the desk in my study, you will find the tape in question. Alright then, bailiff.
Oh crap. Yes, Your Majesty.
Go retrieve the tape in question from the High Priest's home.
At once, Your Majesty. Alright. The power of Koranus prayer. Even a putrid brain such as yours should understand it now. It's like the contradiction really did vanish.
We shall ascertain the content of the recording once we have the tape. In the meantime, I would ask Captain Me to continue with his testimony. Very well.
I heard everything.
I was entertaining His Majesty and his family when the crime occurred.
Stop that!
When I listened to the tape later, I heard a man and woman quarreling.
My leg hurts just looking at that.
It sounded like an altercation between Acolyte Zalot and Acolyte Faye. Wait, that's
Also a lie.
after that, there was a loud noise followed by a haunting silence.
No. I have to find some way to attack his alibi. Uh-oh. Only Maya were here. She has a way of putting me at ease. Seeing her like this is only creeping me out. Yeah. Though the High Priest was a rebel, he was still a Koranist holy man. Therefore, take care in your questioning lest you invoke the ire of our people. How dare you suspect the High Priest? May the Holy Mother strike him blind. Wait, but... As if this wasn't hard enough already. Nice try, but I'll stop at nothing to find the truth. Alright, let's get him. You heard nothing.
Hold it!
You were entertaining His Majesty and his family during the crime.
Indeed, my wife Believe was treating them to her wonderful home cooking.
Your wife was there that day.
Why, yes, she was in the kitchen cooking up a storm the entire time. Come to think of it, I don't think I saw her at all that day.
Oh.
She takes her culinary duties most seriously, you see. That is why she was in the kitchen cooking without pause the entire day.
So the judge never saw Mrs. Inme? Should I have Inme add that statement? Yes! Please add that statement to your testimony.
As you wish. My wife Believe was in the kitchen cooking the entire time.
What was your wife making that day?
The menu that day featured hot and surprise and melt and mott. They are both traditional Koranese dishes.
I can begin to imagine what those are.
Yes, the exquisite zest of height and surprise, and the extreme texture of melted mouth. Lady Envy's cooking that day was utterly unforgettable. Thank you, it brings me great joy to know you enjoyed your meal. Now, once His Majesty and family had left...
I heard a man and woman quarreling. Ooh, I believe that's true. Oh, I'm suspicious now. You heard everything from a recording.
Indeed. Each night I would secretly check what the listening device had recorded. I would have been in serious trouble with my lovely wife had she discovered my secret. She was in on it.
Can you really tell what happened by the audio alone?
The long years of aesthetic training have sharpened my hearing. It is but a simple matter for me to ascertain a situation by the sounds I hear.
Practicing Karanism improves your hearing?
Hearing is but one of the senses it can improve. If one can focus and attain inner peace, all 5 senses can be sharpened. Why the war bat over in the bazaar just cried. Did you not hear it?
Give me a break. Like an altercation between Acolyte Zalot and Acolyte Faye? Hold on. Are you sure about those voices? Was it really Acolyte Zalot and Miss Faye?
I'd say that was the most reasonable conclusion under the circumstances. Or perhaps Acolyte Faye has an alibi that you can prove?
I'm afraid not.
Then I suggest you make like a mollusk and clam up.
Ooh.
Now I'll continue my testimony if I may.
You may not.
Hold it!
A loud noise. I'd say that's worth looking into.
It was a terrible crashing sound. Poor Acolyte's lot. It must have felt so heavy.
Must have been the sound of that stone slab falling over. Should I have him add that statement to his testimony? Do it. Please add that statement to your testimony.
As you wish.
Terrible crash. Poor Zalot. It must have felt so heavy. You believe that terrible crash is connected to Acolyte Zalot's death?
Yes, the sound no doubt was poor Zalot's death knell. Such a tragedy, for he was a fine disciple. I would ask all here today to give a prayer for his departed soul. This way, Matami Yoma.
Uh-huh.
I had no hopes with that young man's future. There's a Matame Yoma.
I feel like such a jerk for just trying to do my job right now.
Mr. Wright, do you still feel the need to question the High Priest? His alibi is as airtight as can be.
This isn't going so well. Better ask him something about something else. I'm curious, Abbott and me. Did you stop by the rebel hideout after His Majesty left?
Yes, I thought it would be wise to assess the situation. But as I said before, there was nothing to see. The hideout appeared as it always had.
And the victim's body?
It was nowhere to be found. Acolyte Faye must have already disposed of it, and anything else incriminating.
So when you saw the rebel hideout, it looked like it does in this photo.
Yes, I would say that is how it appeared that day.
So the stone slab had been put back in place.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to concede defeat?
There's no way, I just need a little more time.
If you insist.
Okay. His family when this crime occurred. My wife believed was in the kitchen cooking the entire time. It sounded like an altercation. He described the noise as a terrible crash. Poor Zalot, it must have felt so heavy. So one thing, I don't know if maybe this matters. Like, there's blood on the ground. Like, does that matter? Huh. right? Abbott and me, you said, and I quote, pours a lot. It must have felt so heavy. Why do you think he felt something heavy? You said the hideout looked like it did in this photo. Oh, how would he have known that's what fell? I thought it was the blood. If so, there's nothing that would lead you to believe he had experienced a heavy feeling. The fact is, of course, a stone slab did fall over onto Acolyte's lot, impaling him on the warbed statue behind him. But that was only revealed through her benevolence's divination seance earlier.
Would the defense please get to the point?
My point is, simply hearing a crashing sound shouldn't have automatically led him to conclude the victim was crushed to death.
I still don't see your point.
I'm saying that the high priest knew. He knew how the victim was really killed.
Why?
And that is information only the real killer could have known. I definitely saw something that time. Got the high priest's spirit shaking in his boots. Or should I say sandals? Need I remind you, Abbott and me was with the magistrate at the time of the crime. Such an alibi precludes him from being the killer. That's true, so he can't be the killer. However, he knew how Zalat was killed. Something only the killer could know. Can this discrepancy be resolved somehow? Yes!
Well, Mr. Wright, we're waiting for an explanation.
I was just getting to that. Time to think of something quick. The high priest knew something only the killer could have known because he heard it from the real culprit. His wife was not at the home. He must have heard how the victim died from the real killer.
The real killer?
Of course, that makes perfect sense. I don't want to believe it, but this is the only possible explanation.
So tell us, who's the real killer?
It's gotta be someone close to the high priest, someone without an alibi. The person most likely to be Zalat's killer is... Sorry.
Take that!
Oh boy, this is gonna go over well. Your Majesty, while you were visiting the high priest's home, you didn't see Mrs. Inme at all, did you?
No, I never saw her, but what does that have to do with anything?
Did the high priest ever leave your sight?
No, we were talking the entire time and the food was brought right to the room's entryway.
So the high priest has an ironclad alibi, but his wife does not. What the devil are you insinuating? I'm insinuating that Mrs. Inme might have killed Acolyte Zalat. Oh boy. Yep, we've lost the crowd this time.
Objection.
You have a lot of nerve making such a baseless allegation. She had no motive to kill Acolyte Zalat. He was like family to her. No, we can't entirely discount the idea. Especially if you consider that Mrs. Inme could have been the one posing as Lady Kira.
Objection.
Even a fool must temper his foolishness at times. Or do you truly believe Lady Kira would kill Acolyte Zalat, though he was not a rebel?
Objection.
As we all know, the High Priest was secretly a rebel. It would follow that his favorite disciple could very well be a rebel too.
Are you suggesting that Mrs. Inme killed her husband as well?
As sad as it is to think she'd kill her own husband to rid the kingdom of rebels, I don't think we can rule it out.
Yikes! You claim my wife is that rebel hunting Lady Kira, and that she slew both Zalat and myself. My lovely wife, that is utterly impossible. Yikes! I've never seen the High Priest so angry.
It is as Abbott and me stated. The accused has already been found guilty of his murder, and it is far too late to overturn it.
That's right, Mr. Wright. Now apologize to the good priest before he gets angry again. Quickly now.
No, I'm not going to apologize. The true identity of Lady Kira is a major piece to this trial's puzzle. admitted Abbott and me. Your wife, Lady in Me, killed you. Oh, we'll have to hear about that in the next episode. Hope you're looking forward to that. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.